be pretty comfortable with creating animation driven through cops. So let's jump in and take a look at a little bit more of a complex example and build this bouncing ball animation that you saw in the beginning. So I'm going to drop down an add node, and we're just going to add a single point here, and we're going to drop down a cop net and build out this animation first. So let's drop down a ramp. And this ramp, I'm going to do something specific just because this is what I did with the original. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to set this to be a Bezier. And let's take this second point here. Let's drop the value all the way down to 0. And I'm going to drag this one actually all the way over. And I'm going to take this little handle right here. Let's set the position to 0.5 and the value to 1.99. And actually with this other point as well, we want this value to be 0. And this creates this type of a little ramp here. And then we're going to take that and we're going to put that into a transform 2D because we want the ball, if I jump back out here for a minute, this is our ground plane here. We want it to kind of start up here and then it's going to bounce down. And it's going to bounce up at a little bit less of a height. And then it's going to continue to kind of bounce at a lower and lower height as it moves further and further away from the origin here. So to do that, we get this ramp here, wire that into a transform 2D. And then I'm just going to set this to be over by a little bit here. And then I'm also going to scale this by value of 0.125. And this just creates the starting value there where it's up high, and then it's going to be bouncing low and then bouncing up. And let's go ahead and just kind of visualize this with an attribute wrangle. So let's take a sphere here as well. Let's wire this add into that first input, our copnet into the second input, and then a copy to points. So let's take this attribute wrangle and let's build out kind of some of this function. We'll do the Y animation first. So let's create a float. We'll call this pause, and we'll set that equal to a fit function. And we're going to take our frame number, so a frame, and we're going to fit this between 1 and kind of whatever we want, I guess, however long we want this animation to be. So I'm going to do 96 frames, and then I'm going to set that to be that's negative 0.99 to 0.99. Remember, we don't want to go all the way to 1 because it's going to then try to interpolate the values on the end. Now, again, you could also go all the way to 1 if you wanted and just scale up your volume by a very, very small margin. But we'll go ahead and leave it like this for now. And then let's take our Y position. So at p.y, and we're going to set that equal to the volume sample. And then we're going to grab that second input of our wrangle here. So our second input, we're wired in that copnet, and we're going to grab that first volume, and then we'll grab that position as where we want to sample. So let's go ahead and click accept here. And you can see that we kind of get this bouncing animation. I can press play. We get this kind of bouncing, almost like a basketball type of an animation going on there. So let's just dive back into our copnet, and we're going to edit this a little bit because we don't want it to just bounce up and down. We want it to slowly lose height as it moves along as well. So we're going to multiply this by a ramp. And I'm going to invert that ramp, wire that into our foreground, and then let's output this. So now we can see that we have this kind of slowly decreasing as we get further and further along here. So now you can see that it's kind of bouncing there at a lower and lower height. Nice. So let's also add in a distance to this because we want it to move along as we go here. So I'm going to take a second ramp and we're going to add these both into a null. And just for simplicity's sake or I guess clarity's sake, let's go ahead and rename these outputs. We'll call one height, and that second one, we're going to call this one distance. And we do want to edit this just a little bit, this ramp here. We can take a look at this. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to be a Bezier as well. And I'm going to just drag this all the way over, and let's take, or actually, let's not do a Bezier. Let's do a B-spline. And let's take this, just kind of set this to be like almost a little bit of a little hill there as we go. So we want it to kind of slow down as it gets closer to the end. It kind of loses that momentum. So that's why we're going to take that and we're going to kind of add that little hill there. And so let's create that movement as well in the X position. So we're going to take a second float. We'll do float pause 2. And again, you can name these kind of whatever you want. And then we're going to fit this as well. So we're going to fit our frame between 1 and let's do 120 for this one. And again, we're going to do that negative 0.99 to 0.99. And then let's affect our X position here. So we'll do at p.x is equal to, and we'll do the volume sample. In this case, we want to use that second input as well, but we don't want to work over the first volume. We want to work over the second volume, and then we'll do pause 2 for this because we want to evaluate this value. So I'm going to click accept here. And we actually need to come to our CopNet. Let's make sure that we have our null being output here. So we'll set our display flag there. And then we also want to uncheck this single output. So now you see we have 2 primitives on our CopNet here. And we can name them kind of whatever we want. So we could use the height as our name in this attribute wrangle instead of working over that first volume for 0. For our height, we could just specify height. We could specify distance for this one if we wanted to as well. But we should have our movement now. So let's go ahead and press play. And you can see that we have kind of some movement going on here. And so we can take this actually and just scale down this sphere so it's not quite so large. And now we get this kind of bouncing movement, which it's pretty obvious that it's not actually rolling with this, with the wireframe enabled. But if you don't have the wireframe enabled, then it kind of looks like it's got that nice little bounce to it. And it stops maybe a little bit abruptly, but we can always go in and change that as well. So if we wanted to maybe affect this, we could set this to be a B-spline, and we could really drop this off more. Let's do something like this. And our height kind of really loses it really there at the beginning. So this is really kind of the power of this. Let's set this frame range to be 120 since that's where it ends. But this is the power of this kind of workflow is we can come in here and let me actually go back here and just lock that viewport. We can change this at any time, right? So we can come in here and we can change our position, we can change our value. So if we wanted it to maintain its height for a lot longer, we can do that. And then it really loses it there at the end. Or you can play around with it and really just dial this in however we want. So it's a very procedural way of working with animation. And, maybe this isn't the best, use case for it. This is kind of just an example of how we can build something that's a little bit more of a complex graph to drive the animation, but it's something that's, kind of interesting and hopefully something that helps you like see the possibilities in this, a little bit thought provoking on how we can go about using this to really drive some different things in animation. So in the next videos, we'll move on to some different methods for this, and then we'll move into how to actually build out the shots that we saw in the intro animation as well.